Compound light microscopes can magnify very small objects up to 1,000 times. This type of microscopes creates a bigger image by passing light through a thinly cut object. Light, along the object's image, is then deviated through a series of lenses before reaching your eyes.
This is the most complex microscope that we have and that you will be using here at Bishop's. This is a typical model. It is a Nikon. So before you start using it, it's important that you know the vocabulary so that when you read a protocol and they say, oh, adjust the growth focus, well, you know where it is. So we'll start from the basics. We'll start with the oculars. Oculars as for eyes. So these are these little two tubes. Okay, you have two, and usually there is going to be one that will be a bit different. There's going to be a ring. And on that ring, there will be two white dots. So for a normal setting, just be sure that the two dots are well aligned. This is the default setting for most people.
It is sometimes difficult to see well with both eyes simultaneously. Take the time to adjust the oculars for you. You can move the tubes horizontally and fit them perfectly to the width of the space between your eyes. The space between oculars is graded. You can keep memory of the measure that is right for you. If another person then uses the microscope, it will be easier to quickly readjust the oculars for your eyes when it comes back to you.
Another super important piece, the objectives. Those also have lenses in. In this model, we have 4 different kinds. Normally, if you pick up your microscope and the person who's used it before did its job well, it should be at this one. The one with the red ring. This is called the scanning microscope, or the 4X. Means it's going to magnify the image 4 times. You've got the other ones too, scanning, and then you get to the 10X. You get then to the 40X, and these are the 3 different objectives that we will be using. The last one, this one with the white ring, it's for oil immersion. It's the highest magnification. The magnification is so high that you need a different medium between the lens and this piece, okay? So you don't use it, but yes, you will be using it in advanced courses, and we will train you for that. But for the introductory courses, you only use this one, and that one. So oculars, objectives, they both magnify the images. Now, how do you get this magnification to focus? We have different parts that will allow you to do that. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm touching those big rings. This will allow to do the growth focus. So it's the coarse knob or the growth knob. The name depends on the book that you're using. So we'll say the coarse knob. So for coarse focus. Notice what happens when you turn this. The stage will go up or down. It's this movement that will allow the initial focus. You may have to lift it up a lot if what you need to observe is very small. So stage, growth focus. Now let's say you've done your growth focus or your coarse focus. You look through this and the image is still not clear, then you need to use the small ones, these two, for fine focus. So you use growth focus or coarse first, and then fine. And with that adjustment, you should have an image that is relatively good. Not perfect, but relatively good. Now we're going to talk about light setting, and we will introduce a few other parts. Now, I didn't mention initially, but you do have an on-off button on this microscope, and with the on-off button, you also have a rheostat. It means that you have a controller for the amount of light. I'm gonna lift up this microscope. You shouldn't be doing this in the lab. I'm gonna do it just for the purpose of the demonstration. You see, when I move this button, the rheostat, you will have more or less light. A mistake that is often done by beginners is having too much light. If you have too much light, the image will be blurred, and you may also get some kind of headaches. So rheostat for on-off, and also controlling the amount of light. On a good microscope, you will have other devices that will help you control the amount of light. We've just seen the rheostat. Normally, you turn on your microscope, you adjust the light, and then you don't quite play too much with the rheostat. Instead, you will be using the condenser and the iris of the diaphragm located on the condenser. So these parts are located here. That big piece here, this is the condenser. It will capture the light coming down, and then it's going to divert the light onto a small surface. The diameter of that surface is about 1 centimeter. So very small area versus this. It's going to condense the light. You can play with the condenser height by turning this knob. So see here, it's fully down. If you turn this, it's going to go up. Most of the time, the best setting will be almost to the top. So the trick is get it up to the top and then lower it down just a little bit. This works really well for most sides. So we've done that setting, the height of the condenser. Another item that's important is this little arm, okay? It's very tiny, it's on the condenser. When you play with it, so I advise you to do that. Don't lift the microscope the way I do though. This is just for the demonstration, but when you're at your station, I invite you to play with that little arm. So this is closed versus totally on. Quite often when you begin, it will be towards that end, so kind of closed or semi-closed. And as you increase the magnification, as you make the image bigger and bigger, you will need a bit more light, so you simply play with this. This is the trick to be efficient. You play with this as opposed to playing with the rheostat. So 3 ways to control the light: the rheostat, the height of the condenser, and that little arm. If you have enough light, your image will be crisp, you will see the details, and you will have more fun. So we're ready. We're ready because the stage is down. And the objective that we're using here is the 4X scanning to help you find the object that is on the slide. So what you need to do, you lift this and then you place the slide and see how snugly it fits there. Now, what you need to do is to align your slide or the object on your slide with the area that will receive light on the microscope. You notice here the slide is not so well onto the area where there would be light. So to do that, you need to use these two knobs. The top one, when you move it, the slide will go towards you or away from you. Now I've centered the object, and then the other knob, it will allow you to move the slide right or left. So just make sure that you're well centered onto the object if you can see it, or if you can't see anything, just put it kind of in the middle. Now you're ready to do the first focusing step. First focusing step is with 4X and the coarse knob. So you will move, you look through the microscope. I'm not doing it because I'm doing a demonstration, but you look through the microscope, you observe, and you lift the stage gently. Gently and gently until you see the image is getting kind of clear. Then, to get it even clearer, you will use the fine focus. Sometimes you don't need it because you've just done it with the coarse focus and everything's fine. But if you need a little minor adjustment, use this. And you observe. If you want to see this image, the specimen, at a higher magnification, then you switch to the next one, okay? Never the second one. It's always the next one. We do that. Now we've changed the setting. This will increase the image even further. So what we need to do? We need to do the fine focus, the small knob, fine focus. If you realize that the image is too dark, remember the trick that I told you? Use this and just move it a little bit until that you see the image is crisp. If the image is crisp, you will see more details. You might be able to identify a species just because you see more details. Now you want to go at a even higher magnification. You do that one more time. Again, you may need to do a fine adjustment, so use the fine focus knob. You do it. If you need more light, just play with this a little bit, just toss it, and then observe again. At this magnification, it's possible you see things that are well focused and other things that are not so focused. In order to get those other out of focus things in focus, you simply use this, fine focus again. And that's because you've increased the magnification a lot, and then you're getting into the depth. It's either you focus really on the top or kind of in the middle of what you've got or at the bottom. You don't have this effect with the scanning, but you tend to have it with this. And don't forget, this one is a no-no unless you have oil, and we tell you that you can do oil immersion, and you've got the training to do so. If you ever have to pick up your microscope on your own, and it's quite likely that we will have you to do that because you have to know how to do that. So this is what you should be doing. Normally our microscopes will be in a cabinet. So you open the door, and normally it's the back that will be facing you so that you can easily grab the arm of the microscope, that part, okay? The arm. So with one hand, you grab the arm, and with your other hand, you will hold the microscope. So you're supporting the microscope from underneath and also with using the arm. So be gentle and you can put your microscope onto your bench. And don't forget, you'll need to plug it. A big no, like no way. Do not lift a microscope by the stage. I can guarantee that you will wreck it. So this is the basics for the microscopes. I hope you understand everything. If you've got questions, I will be there, or an assistant will be there to help you out, and have fun today.